From Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, this is Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. TicketBash.com, where memories are made affordable and where you'll never pay a service fee. Sports Bash is also presented by the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund, a group of like-minded individuals trying to raise awareness to our future generations of all possibilities of success other than just college. For more information, visit www.lookwhomadeit.org. Sports Bash brought to you by the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Every customer is considered family at the Embassy Diner. Mention Sports Bash, get a free dessert with your meal. And by the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media. For more information, go to martylyonsfoundation.org. Hi again, everyone. A happy Thursday, everybody. I'm Peter Schwartz. 516-465-3990 is the number to call here on the program. Make sure you're subscribing to Govs Comedy Club Podcast and Sports Bash Media on YouTube, following along on Facebook, Instagram. Also follow Sports Bash Media on X, Instagram, and Facebook. Coming up on the show, we're going to talk some hoops with my good friend Dave Shepard from Infinity Sports Network and SiriusXM NBA Radio. We'll talk Knicks with him, the rest of the NBA playoffs. We're also going to play Stump the Wiz, and we'll have this week in sports history a little inside broadcasting. We're having our little, pre-show production meeting in here, if you want to call it that. And I'm joining in on it. Me, Wiz, and Tony Walker, by the way, Knock 'em Dead Comedy show, 11 to 12:30. You're welcome every weekday for that kind of fun and mishigas. But the outstanding producer of this program. So we're having this great conversation, and I kind of start getting ready for the show. And Wiz and Tony just can keep continuing to talk. And I look up at the clock. I'm like, it's 1 o'clock. I'm like, I'm sorry to break up the conversation, guys, but I got a show to do. So, like, if I don't know if all of our clocks are synchronized, but if you got the indication that the show was starting a minute or so late, it's not my fault. It's Tony and Wiz's fault. So they take the blame on that. But I'm just busting their chops. So a lot of good stuff coming up on the show in a little bit. Baseball season rolling on early in the season. The Mets continue to win, although they lost last night. And this is why, I'll get back to the Mets in a second, but just from a Yankees perspective, you can't lose 2 out of 3 in Baltimore. You can't do that. I don't care how banged up you are, and I don't care, if the bottom of the lineup is doing whatever, especially Aaron Judge homers in the first inning. You can't be losing 2 out of 3 to the Orioles. I'm sorry. I know you got your issues and everything like that, but listen, I could see you stubbing your toe in one of the games, maybe in the first one. Okay, you score 15 runs in the second one. But you cannot be taken seriously losing 2 out of 3. And I understand it's 162 games, and this may seem like a typical, it's a hot take and you're just trying to stir something up. It's true. I speak as a host. I speak as a Yankee fan. Like, I'm pissed off that they lost 2 out of 3 in Baltimore. You can't do that. The way that Baltimore has been playing this year with all of their injuries, and you go to Yankee Stadium South, Camden Yards, and you can't win 2 games against that team? You got to be kidding me. And I know they don't have everything all rolling yet. Like Aaron Judge, man, I'll tell you. It'll be very, very hard to keep up this pace. But what's he hitting, like 430 now?
Yes.
With a couple more hits last night, 430?
This is incredible.
I mean, I didn't ask you. But listen, it's not going to keep up. I'd like to see him hit some more home runs like he did last night. But again, that's inexcusable, and I get it. I know it's early in the season, and Pete, you're overreacting to this. I'm like, I don't think I am. I don't think so. I mean, they got some serious issues. I mean, maybe Stanton will be back soon. Hopefully some other healthy bodies are mended, and they can get this thing rolling. But too many guys in that Yankee lineup at any given time are not producing. And you can't depend on one guy, and you can't depend on 2 guys. They need more carrying the freight. And, some guys have been more surprising than others. But, again, not to sound like a broken record, you can't be going into Baltimore losing 2 out of 3. Sorry. A rare loss for the Mets last night against Arizona. They have been a great story. And think about the Mets being the first team in baseball to get to 20 wins on the season, which is an incredible accomplishment considering we really didn't know before the season just how good the Mets were going to be. Obviously, they had some issues. You wish they had a little bit more starting pitching, but they've done a really good job. Pete Alonso's off to a terrific start. You'd like to see more of. Of course, you gave all that money to Juan Soto, and he's off to a slow start, at least batting average-wise, too. Not enough power also. But you get the feeling as the weather heats up, he's going to heat up as well. But you can't complain if you're a Met fan. Wow. I mean, what a great start to the season. And the last thing you want to be doing is digging a hole for yourself early on, which is kind of what the Mets did last year, and they wound up having to scratch and claw to get into a playoff spot at the end. But they're off to a fantastic start. There's really no complaints, and in some cases, some players are going to get better. Some guys are going to drop off, but to be the first team in the big leagues, and there's a lot of good teams in the major leagues, to have the start the Mets have is just incredible for them, and they keep marching on as well. So, Yankees and Mets both right up there, with the top teams. Again, Yankees stubbing their toe in Baltimore last night. That's very, very frustrating and disappointing that they can go there and lose 2 games to that crap team. But still a long way to go, and and hopefully they can get things moving in the right direction. I'll talk about the Knicks with Dave Shepard. I'll just briefly mention that was a very disappointing performance the other night. I said on the show on Tuesday, I felt the Knicks would finish off the series. They stubbed their toe in Game 2, and this has been a series. Boy, I mentioned on Tuesday, it's been a series like it's out of the 1990s. Physical, but the Knicks have had problems shooting the basketball at times. It reared its ugly head in Game 2 at the Garden, and it came back to haunt them again in Game 5 at the Garden the other night. And for this Knicks team to lose 2 home games in the first round, in one round of the playoffs, they probably have a good amount of confidence going to Detroit because they won both games 3 and 4 in Detroit. But this is a series now. You got to have some concern. We'll talk to Dave Shepard about it in a few minutes. But if you're a Knicks fan right now, there's angst. There is anxiety. This is a Pistons team that's not going away. And you saw how the Knicks were hurt when Brunson and Hart are both out of the lineup the other night at the same time, and they couldn't get back in the game. They just ran out of time. The game didn't dictate a chance for them to get back into the game. And the Knicks, listen, there's no sugarcoat. The Knicks pissed that game away the other night. At the free throw line, missed easy shots down low. Again, we'll get into the Knicks a little bit more in a few minutes, but that was very disappointing the other night. And look, we'll see. Excuse me. We'll look to see if they can rebound and get the job done in Motown and move on and play Boston in the next round. Which, if the Knicks are having this kind of trouble against the Pistons, my guess would be is they won't stand much of a chance against the Celtics. But then again, you never know. But first things first, they got to get this thing wrapped up. And the last thing the Knicks want to have to do is face a Game 7. They didn't want to have to go back to Detroit for a Game 6, but you're telling me if the Pistons win on their home court tonight, that they won't have all kinds of momentum coming back to the Garden on Saturday where they've already won 2 games. For the same reason that the Knicks have a good feeling about going to Detroit tonight where they've won 2 games, the Pistons have to feel the same way. And now the Pistons just have to take care of business on their home court to force a Game 7 in the building that they just quieted 19,000 people in. So, and we'll talk more. And the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day has to do about the future of Tom Thibodeau. But this Game 6 or a possible Game 7, Coach Tibbs could be coaching for his job. Because whatever magic this team has had at times evaporates at times. And you can't get rid of all these guys. You sign these guys to contracts. The one guy you can get rid of is the coach. And Tom Thibodeau, he may pay the price at the end of the season if the Knicks don't make any noise, especially if they get bounced in the first round. I don't see how Thibodeau comes back. You get to the second round, if you play well against Boston, you can make the argument he comes back, but we'll talk more about that later on. Here is the subject that I really wanted to talk about today, and I didn't want to lead with it because then I'd get the fingers pointed at me that this show has turned into an Islander show, and I don't want it to think, although, truth be told, Pat LaFontaine's going to be on the show next Tuesday. When Colin Cosell is the FOP on Tuesday, Pat LaFontaine will be on for a segment to talk about his charity and some other stuff. So, yeah, so on Tuesday it'll be a little Islander related. But I have to mention this. Last season, not this past season, last year, my kids and I are at the Stadium Series game, Islanders-Rangers, at MetLife Stadium. And that is when the NHL announced that the 2026 All-Star game, All-Star Weekend, would be played at UBS Arena. And we were all excited. Oh, we're going to go to the game. I've been to the All-Star game before. My kids have never been there. Dad, can we go? Yes, we'll get tickets, no problem. And the excitement starts to build. And then you had the All-Star Weekend, this year, which was not really All-Star. It was the Four Nations face-off. And you saw how great that hockey was. Who's taking pictures? Did you hear that? That was you?
I'm working hard.
Oh, you're working hard because I can hear the camera clicking in the headphones.
I'm preparing
graphics.
You're
You're preparing graphics. Okay. In that case, I'll let it slide. It's like, who let the paparazzi in here? Like, I'm hearing camera clicking.
Peter Schwartz, baby. It's a GM.
Oh, well, yeah. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So, we're all excited about the All-Star game. The Four Nations face-off really makes people want to say, let's get rid of the All-Star game altogether. I had always wondered from last year, the announcing of the All-Star weekend at UBS Arena, till this year with the Four Nations face-off. I thought it was weird that the NHL and the Islanders never unveiled the logo for All-Star weekend in 2026. And I kept talking to my kids. I'm like, something's not right. So why haven't they released the logo? Because usually host cities, they get an All-Star game, the Super Bowl, or something like that. You start to put merch on sale. And they never released the logo. Now we start to hear, after the Four Nations face-off, you start to hear rumors that the NHL might be thinking about doing away with the All-Star game, at least for next year, because it's going right into the Olympics. And the NHL players are going to go play in the Olympics. I'm like, how do you do that? How could you cancel? You made a big stink, a big deal about giving Long Island the All-Star game, and now you're going to take it away? And sure enough, what did we find out the other day? We find out Gary Bettman confirms there will be no All-Star weekend at UBS Arena in 2026. Instead, don't go crazy here. This is big stuff. The NHL will have some sort of kickoff to the Olympics event at UBS Arena, but it will not be a hockey competition. Now, what does that mean? How do you give a community in a region an all-star weekend? They're excited about it. You're trying to get Islander season ticket holders to renew, and the NHL All-Star Weekend is part of that marketing plan to renew. And now you're taking that away? And you remember last week, I forgot when I reamed on the Islanders for firing the radio people. It was last week.
Yeah.
I can't get on the Islanders for this. This is an NHL deal. You give a community an all-star weekend, and you take it away and you replace it with this event, a kickoff event, and then maybe some other hockey competition next year, which they didn't even clarify if that hockey competition in 2027 would be an all-star game at UBS Arena. They're talking about the World Cup of Hockey in 2028. Maybe UBS Arena gets a game or two in that World Cup of Hockey. But you're taking away All-Star Weekend and replacing it with a hockey kickoff event that's not a hockey competition. What is it? You already made the boneheaded move of announcing an All-Star Weekend that's now not happening. Now you say it's going to be a hockey kickoff event to the Olympics, and you're not clear on it? Are we supposed to be excited about this? Or if you're an Islanders fan or just a hockey fan in the area that was looking forward to going to the All-Star game, what are you supposed to feel? I have no idea how to feel about this. I'm pissed off that I don't get to take my family to the All-Star game after being told we will be able to go. And now the NHL has taken that away? What are we doing here? It's like, you tell your child, for your birthday, I'm going to get you that toy truck that you really wanted. You know that toy truck, you saw it on TV? We were in the store with Dad, and Mom, and you wanted that. And we said, no, we got it for you for your birthday. You're getting it. Just be patient. You're going to get it. And then your birthday comes. Nah, we decided to do something else. Sorry. Wah, wah. No toy truck for you. No All-Star game for Long Island. And look, I get it. The All-Star game it's not the greatest indication of what hockey is all about. We've seen it. I always liked the original All-Star game. Like, you do conference versus conference. It is what it is. It's an All-Star game. People trying to reinvent the wheel and trying to, we have to make the All-Star game competitive. Why? It's the best players in the world playing against each other, whether it's the baseball All-Star game, the NBA All-Star game. The only one that really has always sucked is the Pro Bowl. I mean, they did the best thing they could have done was turning it into a flag football game. That's the best thing. One of the best decisions the NFL has ever made was turning the Pro Bowl into a flag football tournament. Because not only is it safer for the players, it avoids just a god-awful tackle football game, but now you've got all these kids exposed to flag football, and now you see the NFL players are doing it as well. But the NHL All-Star Game is the NHL All-Star Game. It's high scoring. There's no defense. You get to see the best players in the world playing against each other. I went to the 1983 All-Star Game at Nassau Coliseum. That was the game Gretzky scored 4 goals and won the MVP with the car. And I always have that as a memory. And I've covered other All-Star games in Toronto, in Philadelphia, in Boston. The games are not great. I get it. It's not real hockey. It's not the high level of hockey you see in the regular season and also in the playoffs. I get it. And I get we were spoiled this year with the Four Nations face-off. But you cannot give an all-star weekend to a community and then take it away because of what we saw this year. It's absolutely ludicrous. And what is this kickoff event? If you want to get rid of the All-Star game and replace it with the international thing, I get it. I would understand it. But now when you've already awarded the game, it's not like what happened a few years ago with the Major League All-Star game. And they gave it to Atlanta, or they gave it to, was it Milwaukee? And then because of some political reason, they pulled the game out of Milwaukee and put it in Atlanta. Or maybe it was
Atlanta and went to Denver.
Right, went to Denver. Thank you, Wiz. That was a good interruption on your part. I appreciated that. But you know what I was saying. Major League Baseball took an All-Star game away from a community because of a political reason. There was no political reason here. And I get it. The players are going to the Olympics. I get it. So you should have. You knew this last year, on the day of the outdoor hockey games, the Stadium Series. You knew that the Olympics were coming up. Why did you even award the game to Long Island? You could have said UBS Arena is going to get the All-Star game, but not next year. Okay, great. We waited 4 years for it. We could wait another couple. But you award it and take it away? I think that's Bush League by the NHL. I really do. And to not even guarantee what is coming in place of it is mind-boggling to me. Mind-boggling. So I don't get it. I'm disappointed. I was looking forward to going. I'm not one of these, it's the All-Star game, it's high scoring, they don't play. It's a spectacle. If you're a sports fan, listen, I can't speak for anybody else. I like going to All-Star games. I like those kind of things. And I was looking forward to going. And now we got to wait and see what this kickoff event is. Is it going to be something worth it going to? And is the NHL going to make up for it in the right way? Are we going to get an All-Star game in 2027? Are we going to get the World Cup of Hockey here in 2028? I think the NHL owes a further explanation and apology to the hockey fans here on Long Island. That's what I think. I think Gary Bettman, after kind of just like teasing what was happening the other day, the NHL needs to come out and explain what exactly is going on here. I think Islander fans are owed that, especially the season ticket holders. They need to explain what happened and why this happened. Well, we know why it happened, but what are you going to do about it? And it's to me, that was a disgrace, and I can't stand it. Anyway, we're going to talk some hoops when we come back. When we come back here on the show, Dave Shepard from Infinity Sports Network and SiriusXM NBA Radio will talk Knicks and NBA playoffs with us. You two will take us to break, and we'll be right back after this. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
In 1982, the Marty Lyons Foundation began with a single heartfelt mission: to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,500 families, raising over $43 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $6,700 each, and your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 76 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyLyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved.
Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. I'm Peter Schwartz. This segment of Sports Bash is presented by the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund, a group of like-minded individuals trying to raise awareness to our future generations of all possibilities of success other than just college. For more information, visit www.lookwhomadeit.org. Welcome back to the program, everybody. Peter Schwartz with you. The Knicks and the Pistons. Game 6 tonight in Motown after the Knicks dropped Game 5 at the Garden the other night. And I've always said this to myself, if I ever needed a really, really good NBA basketball guest, there's nobody else I would want on the planet. And I don't know why it's taken me this long to get him on the show, but my good friend, co-worker at Infinity Sports Network, he also hosts at SiriusXM NBA Radio, Dave Shepard. Dave, it's Peter. How are you?
Peter Schwartz, man. Pleasure to be on with you, my friend. Good to see you, hosting for your 10th different radio show.
Yeah.
But
as you know, Shep, I have like 72 jobs, including now a full-time one, running a football team. But yes, it's nice. And this is actually a nice conversation because a lot of the times we're talking has historically over the years been in the middle of the night when I worked overnights for CBS Sports Radio, which is now Infinity, and you were working there as well as a producer, and now you're a big time host. You hardly ever talk to me anymore because now you're a host there. You don't talk to the update guys anymore. You spend your time, hanging with the big guys, right?
Well, that's not true at all, because you and I both know we have plentiful conversations, whether it's on or off the air. And obviously, man, you've been doing this a long time, and just congrats on everything and the show that you're doing. It's a hit, obviously. And then on top of that, you're a full-time general manager. So I don't know how you do it, along with having a full job as a father, as a husband. So, man, let's get to it, man.
A lot of Diet Pepsi keeps me going.
Okay, unlike Diet Coke, like one of your other good friends in the industry.
I know. I'm a Diet Pepsi guy. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Fair enough.
Shep, let's get right to it. Obviously, this is like white knuckles time here for the Knicks. I mean, this has been a heavyweight boxing match between these two teams, kind of like a throwback to Knick playoff series back in the 80s and 90s. And I thought the Knicks, after they stubbed their toe in Game 2 at the Garden, they kind of got things back on track, winning the 2 games in Detroit. I was stunned how poorly they played at times in Game 5 the other night. Obviously, you want to pay, give respect to the Pistons as well. But from this spectrum of emotions the Knicks have been through in this series, can you kind of take their temperature and where they're at and what you think they might show tonight in Motown?
Yeah, there's. You never want to say anything definitive when it comes to sports, because that's usually when you make an ass out of yourself. But there's no way the Knicks are going to be winning Game 6 in Motown. You talk about that fan base being riled up, knowing they should have won Game 4. Now, I understand it was contact that wasn't severe. It still should have been called. Mm-hmm. And the fact that the fans know that, they are going to be extra attentive on the referees. The referees are going to have their antennas up, understanding it's going to be a very sensitive crowd. It's going to be a very sensitive fan base. You talk about the old school feel for this, Pete. The last time the Knicks and the Pistons faced off in the playoffs, Patrick Ewing and Isaiah Thomas were going up against each other. So there's a lot on the line. You're going to have Detroit royalty there. We saw Billups last time. We saw Ben Wallace. We saw Isaiah Thomas. We saw Jalen Rose, obviously Tim Hardaway Sr. So that crowd is going to be fired up.
I actually think, Shep, I don't mean to cut you off, but when I think of the Knicks, and the Pistons in the playoffs, I think back. I want to say it was it 89 or 88 when Bernard King pumped in 44 in Game 5.
Okay, wow. Well, that's see, I was alive in the 80s, but I didn't watch basketball in the 80s, so that's predating me.
Yeah.
But what I will say, and obviously Bernard King, a New York Knicks legend for sure, scoring title personified. What I will say is, there's no way the Pistons are not going to have the momentum and going back to Game 6, considering everyone had them dead and buried. No one had them going to MSG after, to your point, squandering 2 home games in Detroit. They haven't won a home playoff game since 2008, Peter Schwartz.
That's crazy.
2008.
It's crazy.
You were the Jets beat writer in 2008. That's how long ago it was. So, look.
2008 was a long time ago.
It was. I mean, were Bradley and Jared alive?
Bradley was. Jared was not.
That's how long ago it was. I mean, we're talking almost 2 decades ago. So it's just the Pistons' time. 17 years without a home playoff win. Something's got to give. And I understand they're a 14 win team in 2024. Now it's a 44 win team in 2025. They're going to get it done in Game 6. Now Game 7, I got to see what happens and what unfolds. But I just Cade Cunningham again. He's due. He's due for that breakout 30-point triple-double. We haven't seen that type of performance for him yet. I have a feeling we're going to see a rejuvenated, big-time Cade Cunningham on Thursday.
Yeah, I would expect that too. And again, it goes both ways. Players who are not pulling their weight consistently for the Knicks, you hope that they can wake up for Game 6 and the other way around. What the interesting part for me from Game 5, and it's the last thing on Game 5, and we'll move on to other things. But the Knicks just obviously the bad luck in Brunson and Hart both getting banged up, and then they couldn't get them back into the game. Yeah, you almost had the feeling that if the circumstance allowed them to both get back into that game at the end of the fourth quarter, maybe the Knicks could have found a way to pull that out. But you have to, again, this goes back to the Knicks rotation is to the point where, like, if they lose any of these guys, you saw it in the playoffs last year, they kept losing body after body against the Pacers in the second round. They can't afford to lose any of these guys because the players who are coming in are inconsistent. And they have to figure out a way, Shep, tonight, and even in Game 7 if necessary, they have to figure out a way to keep Brunson and Hart healthy for the whole game.
Oh, without question. And I know you're a big Mike Greenberg fan. He had an incredible segment on the underappreciation of Jalen Brunson. Look, he's not going to go 4 of 16 again. You are saying to yourself, like, it's a little bit similar to Milwaukee right now, right? Mm-hmm. Milwaukee 2023, Giannis has the back contusion. 2024, Giannis is out for the entire series. 2025, Dame goes out, not even available for Game 1, finds a way to come back after a 15-game absence, and unfortunately suffers the torn ACL. There's just some teams with bad luck, and some franchises with bad luck, and I think the Knicks certainly fall into that category. To your point, Randall got hurt, OG was hurt, Jalen was hurt, Josh was hurt. We should have had an Eastern Conference Finals appearance in 2024. And to your point, how do 2 of your main guards go down essentially at the exact same time, and when they're both at the scores table, it takes them more than a minute of time on the floor, more than a minute just to get them back in.
Yeah.
I mean, what are the odds of that? Seriously. Now you got to assume Jalen Brunson ain't going 4 of 16 again from the floor. That you have to assume. Karl Anthony Towns, the guy witnessed in game number 4, I didn't see the same caliber of shot making from Karl Anthony Towns. He did have that clutch 3 in game 5, but I didn't see the onslaught of Karl Anthony Towns on the block as well. I'd like to see that phase of his game.
You mentioned Karl Anthony Towns, Shep, and we're talking to Dave Shepard from Infinity Sports Network and SiriusXM NBA Radio. We're talking Knicks and NBA playoffs. When I look at this Knicks team, and they had their special moments this year with Towns and obviously some other new faces as well, to me, this group didn't create the same kind of magic and trust that last year's group did. I said this on the show the other day, like, I miss Isaiah Hartenstein. You miss Dante DiVincenzo. I mean, those two guys really added excitement and dimension to that team last year. And I think that, listen, Karl Anthony Towns is a great player. There's no question about it. To me, this team is missing a little bit of heart and soul that they had from those two guys last year.
Yeah, and to your point, Pete, I mean, look, that team should have made the Eastern Conference Finals. There's no question about that. Yeah. They were within a shot of going up 3-0 in that series in the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Pacers. If obviously, Nembhard doesn't make that incredible shot at the end of that game 3. I mean, you felt like, Julius Randle, he came to the Knicks when it was a downtime. Isaiah Hartenstein came to the Knicks when it was a downtime. Same with Jalen Brunson. And, you felt like he was one of us. Where you feel like Karl Anthony Towns, you trade away Julius, you trade away Dante for Cat. And so you're thinking this has to be an upgrade.
They traded away Julius Randle like days after he did a public appearance for them at like a youth basketball thing. That didn't sit well with me when that happened.
No, it didn't. And obviously, look, the best revenge in life is success. And you see Julius Randle show up big time in a gentleman's sweep against the Lakers. Something tells me the Knicks would not be able to perform a gentleman's sweep on the Lakers. So, yeah, it doesn't feel the same mojo. It doesn't feel like the crowd is as invested. It doesn't feel like fans are as invested because I feel like now you have not only Karl Anthony Towns as a huge addition, but you got Mikal Bridges.
Right.
And we understand Mikal Bridges was either a third or at worst fourth best player on a team that made an NBA Finals back in 2021 with the Phoenix Suns and then was arguably the best player for the Nets last year. So you figure this team should be better, and Pete, they haven't taken that step yet.
Bridges goes cold for stretches of games. It's so frustrating because you can see him pumping 40 points one night, and then the other night he can't hit the ocean from the beach.
No, and that's a pretty big target right there, Pete. The reality is when you talk about Mikal Bridges, he's a 3-and-D guy, but you'd like to see someone with that length, that athleticism, that slashing ability, an ability to create easy baskets for himself, and he doesn't do that. Now I will say this: he was really good in Game 4, really good in Game 4. I mean, there was some shot making from him that was at an all-time high level for his skill set. And he's the reason why we were able to come back on the Pistons in that Game 4. And obviously, Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson.
I like how you used "we" there, Shep.
Well, I mean, the reality, I've been a New Yorker for quite some time, and we don't have a championship to speak of in my lifetime, so I might as well put a we into it.
I gotcha.
Absolutely.
So obviously, a lot of this will depend on what happens tonight and potentially in a Game 7, and if the Knicks make it to the next round, what happens there. But a big story, a big topic of conversation around the Knicks this year with this new look roster is the future of head coach Tom Thibodeau. And I think for sure, I said it in the open, if the Knicks don't win this series, I think he's gone for sure. If they get out of this first round, then I think things might still be up in the air. How do you look at his, because he's been a big part of this Knicks resurgence over the last few years. He's been a big part of all the wins that they've had and the success they've had. But maybe a coach can only take a team so far. In your mind, what's the future of Tom Thibodeau look like?
Well, let me. It's a good question. Let me come back.
I appreciate that. I do this for a living.
It's a good question, Pete. Now, first of all, we're both in agreement. If he is not able to come out victorious in this round, he's going to be gone.
Absolutely,
I agree.
Yes.
I agree with you 100% on that. Now, here's what's gonna very likely happen. The Knicks are going to end up facing the Celtics, and they are going to lose in either 5 or 6.
Okay.
And so what we continuously see from the Knicks is they're a really good regular season team. They are more than capable of winning a round. They cannot break through that proverbial Eastern Conference semi-finals wall with Tom Thibodeau. It's just beyond obvious to me. Now, do we credit the roster that Cleveland and Boston has in place more so than assigning blame to Tom Thibodeau? Or do we say to ourselves, look, he's been there for a few years now. He's someone that is always going to perform in the regular season. They are going to play hard on defense. Starters are going to obviously have to endure a lot of minutes. But by the time they get to the playoffs, he's just not the answer. Same way we talk about when he was in Minnesota and the same way we talk about when he was in Chicago.
Right.
He just couldn't break through. And so my question for you would be, is this more a matter of, hey, roster and personnel, they don't have the horses that Cleveland and Boston does? Or is it a matter of Tom Thibodeau being right for the job when it comes to having a 50-win-plus season, but when it gets to the postseason, the Knicks and Thibs don't translate?
Right. I think it's probably the latter.
Oh, so it's irrespective of what Boston and Cleveland has done, you don't believe this team is up for success with Tom Thibodeau to make it deep playoff?
Because it doesn't pass the eye test, Shep. I mean, you look at how this roster is constructed and his way of coaching and the way that he has a rotation set. It looks like, obviously a square peg trying to fit into a round hole.
Yeah, I would agree wholeheartedly with that. And I also think we got to pay attention to some of the tea leaves, right? You have Mikal Bridges basically coming out and throwing his coach under the bus. And this was late in the regular season when he's talking about, hey, starters are logging too many minutes. That's not something you hear all too often from a starter logging those heavy minutes. He absolutely threw Tom Thibodeau under the bus.
Yeah.
I do think there is a case to be made for a change of scenery, but this is what I will say. You have to look at the personnel. Jalen, I love Jalen Brunson. He's the best Knick we've had since Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, I would agree.
He does not stay healthy. He doesn't. And I'm not saying this is the case of Kawhi Leonard.
You cringe every time he goes down. You wonder if it's another ankle problem.
Yeah. It's just, look, there's just like Luka Doncic is another example. Like, he's always hurt. Now, he'll show up. He'll play hard. Jalen will always play hard. He will always compete. But he goes down a lot. Another guy who, Mr. 48-minute man himself, Josh Hart, he gets hurt a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much of that is Thibs and how much of that is just the way those guys' bodies are and how hard they play, how much they compete. But something has to change. Here's the other question that I don't know if anyone's going to ask, but it's a conversation and a question that is worth visiting, right? Can Jalen Brunson truly be the best player on a contending title team? That has yet to be answered. I don't think so. I think as great as his story is, coming to play for a hometown in which his father, I don't want to say starred on, but was a part of. Someone who was a second-round draft pick, who Dallas gave away for nothing, Mike.
Zippo.
Zippity-doo-dah, right? Is he the guy that truly can be the best player on a contender? We know Boston. We know they've answered that with Jason Tatum.
Right.
We know Denver has that in Nikola Jokic. We know the Clippers have that in Kawhi Leonard. outside of the Celtics, I don't know if there's a team in the Eastern Conference where you can make a claim that right now, the way they're currently constituted, they can win a championship with said best player on their roster. I don't know about Donovan Mitchell with Cleveland. I definitely don't know about Jalen Brunson with New York. And a lot of that has to do with not the 30-point performance outburst that he has pretty much every single postseason game, but his ability to stay upright and healthy when it comes to the postseason, something that unfortunately he has demonstrated he is not consistent on.
Two last quick things before we let you go. Yes or no, do the Knicks advance?
Yes, out of the first round. But
Yeah.
that's not what Knicks fans want to hear.
No, but that wasn't my question, Shep. Again, this is the same conversations that you and I have at work. You try. I'm just busting your chops.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. That's not the $1 million question. The $1 million.
No, I was just adding. No, but you do think the Knicks will find a way to survive this round?
I do. I'm not positive. These games. You talk about game number 1.
Yeah.
You talk about game number 4. They could have gone either way.
Yes.
Could have gone either way. So I'm not ruling it out that Detroit can get through. Obviously, it's not just the talent they have. They got some veterans, man. You talk about, obviously, Tobias Harris. You talk about an individual like Malik Beasley. They got some dogs in that team that have been there, done that.
And let's talk about the Lakers. They got knocked out of the first round by Minnesota. Obviously, LeBron's not a happy camper right now. He's got his new little shiny toy. And Luka Doncic who's acquired this year. What does the future hold, you think, for LeBron in L.A. with the Lakers?
He's coming back. He loves the attention too much. He loves the notoriety.
Yeah.
There's no way someone with his ego and the amount of pride that he has would not announce his last year. He would want all the festivities. He would want the All-Star Game festivities. He would want the farewell tour. There's no question about it. And in fairness, he's earned it.
Yeah.
Will he be back with LA? Yeah. He knows he runs the
the show.
Absolutely. I mean, listen. How else do you get your podcast buddy whose qualifications are no more than coaching an 8th grade team to become the head coach of the freaking purple and gold, right? You got Nate McMillan sitting there with nearly 800 wins. You got Scott Brooks sitting there who's been to a freaking NBA finals. Hey, let's go with the guy that's been an NBA TV analyst for the last 3 years and does a podcast with me. Yeah, that's the head coach. Yeah, it's LeBron's show. We all know that. And let me tell you this, Peter Schwartz, and you know something about this in terms of really
I like the way you keep using my last name, too.
There you go. Well, listen, it's a name that everyone should know at this point. You've been in the game for like 30 years, man.
35. Don't chip me out of 5 years, Shep.
So that's a damn. Well, what does LeBron James call 5 years?
I have no idea. What?
He calls it having 2 sons in the NBA. That's what he calls 5 years. That's what he's going to be playing for.
I don't know where that came from.
Well, what I'm saying is 5 years is the amount of time it will take basically from LeBron going to LA, not only going to LA, but having not one but 2 offspring playing alongside him.
Right.
He's going to want Bryson playing with him along with Bronny. That's going to be his goal. He's going to want to play a quarter of a century. I think he plays 3 more years.
I think LeBron and Shep, we got to go because we got to get to a break in the last segment of the show. I think LeBron has lost his mind.
You know what? When you have the opportunity to make $55 million.
Oh, I'm not jealous. No. I would love to make that kind of money. I'm just saying it's like to completely, coerce the system where his son, who has no business playing in the NBA for his team, he's lost his mind.
Well, listen, when you're a billionaire, Pete, you can get away with losing your mind every now and then. So.
I mean, that would be kind of like, running a football team and making sure your son's got a job with them. I mean, it's unspeakable. That could never happen.
You're not foreshadowing, are you?
Well, it's already happened. So, so, Shep, you are the best. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Peter Schwartz. Great show as always, man. Thank you for having me, man. Always a pleasure.
You got it. I'll see you at the other place very, very soon.
Talk soon.
Dave
Thank
Shepard, Sirius XM NBA Radio and Infinity Sports Network. Shep is one of my best friends in the business. I love to bust his chops, but we had our moments together before. We were at each other's throats about certain things, but I'm very, very happy to call him a friend. I'm glad he was able to be on the show. There's some stories about him that I will keep to the book that I'm going to write one day, but we'll get to that another time. We have so much else to do here on the show when we come back. We're going to play Stump the Wiz. I have all the confidence in the world that Wiz is going to get this question right today. I have these feelings. And by the way, we're hearing the NBA and NBC thing, which I love this music.
John Ball Rock.
Yes, by John Tesh. Stump the Wiz is coming up this week in sports history. Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. And we are going to unveil the New York Dragons uniforms. Coming up here on the show when we come back right after this. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Hi.
In 1982, the Marty Lyons Foundation began with a single heartfelt mission: to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,500 families, raising over $43 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $6,700 each, and your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 76 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyLyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved.
Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com and the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund. I'm Peter Schwartz. We thank Dave Shepard from Infinity Sports Network and SiriusXM NBA Radio. All for Lena by Billy Joel, bringing us back. And you know I always have to play a Billy Joel song at least once during the show. And you know, me and Tony like to talk about Billy Joel when we play the music. First time, Tony, that I have used All for Lena. I've generally rotated some other songs. I thought today we changed it up a little bit. I've always felt that All for Lena was one of the more underrated songs from Mr. William Joel. Your thoughts on All for Lena?
I personally believe as great as his hits are, I do feel his best stuff are the unknown stuff, and that's a perfect example.
Oh, yeah? No, I think it's a tremendous... I would love to see, and if we've already talked about this at any point on the show before, I apologize. I would love to see Billy Joel do a concert, 2 hours, give us, get nice and all rested up, and give us your 2 best hours of album cuts.
Del Judas has done that.
Mike Del Judas has done that, and I missed the damn show. I couldn't go that night that he was doing it.
He's done it twice. I was there for both.
I only knew about one. I didn't know about the other, but if he does it again, I'm going to do it.
You be nice to me. I have the audio from it.
You have the audio?
You be nice to me. I just might give it to you.
I'm always nice to you.
Yeah, usually.
You know, you're taking pictures while I'm doing the monologue. You know, it's like I'm going to call you out on
that graphic is what I was working on.
That graphic. Oh, there we go. Unfortunately, I don't have it because I can't access the page. So if our social media coordinator,
what page is it?
No, it's on the Dropbox. Do you have it in the? Can you get the Dropbox in here?
The Dropbox that we all use?
That we all use, yes. That's where Connor Kalbauer, social media coordinator, deposits it. But I made the mistake of not getting it before I coming over here. So you see, I can't get on the internet on the on my phone. So I asked him to text it to me. I don't know if he's in class. I don't know if he's watching the show, but we'll see. Maybe we'll have it before the end of the show. We're going to have to speed things up a little bit because we had 10 minutes to go, and Tony charges us for every minute past the hour, so we have to keep this thing moving in the right direction. But I love All for Lana, and I wish, excuse me, that that Billy Joel, one of his, however much time left he has performing, I'd love to see him do a 2-hour concert of just album cuts. We don't want to look. I love Piano Man, and you love My Life, and you love Just the Way You Are, and all those things. But I like No Man's Land, and I like Until the Night, and I like some of these other songs, album cuts,
full album shows. That's what I want to see.
I want to see the
nylon curtain full.
Right. No, I like that idea too.
Thank you.
But I would also just like to see a complete 2-hour show of no hits, just album cut after album cut. She's Right on Time is another one. I like that song. Nylon Curtain is my favorite Billy Joel album.
Mine too, my friend. Mine too.
There you go. Very well. Oh, how about this? Connor is paying attention, and I've got. Let's go right to it. Before Wiz, hang on just 1 second while I have this open on the phone. Okay. Let's take care of the Sports Bash Media concert calendar presented by Ticketbash.com. Weekly concert and event calendar. Thank you, Connor, for doing this. Pop star Charlie XCX. She does that song my kids and my wife sing all the time, and I can't think of the name of that song. It's on the tip of my tongue. Because when you hear it, you just can't get it out of your mind.
She has many songs.
Well, I know, but there's the one I think that's really.
I love it's like our first one.
I don't know what it is. I should not have gone on a tangent there. Anyway, Pop star XCX is at the Barclays Center tonight, which is the first. Also the 3rd and the 4th. Tomorrow the 2nd is comedian Chris D'Elia is performing at the Beacon Theater. Wanda Sykes is at the State Theater in New Jersey on the 3rd. Comedian Bill Burr at the Capitol Theater on the 4th. You can get tickets for all these events and more at Ticketbash.com. They offer no service fees and have the lowest prices around. All right, let's get right to it. Let's get to Stump the Wiz. Welcome, Wiz. By the way, my mother texted me. She still thinks that I'm being nasty to you. She said be nice to you. So I if I offended you, I apologize.
Mrs. Schwartz, it's okay.
Don't forget the C.
I said Mrs. Schwartz.
No, you said, again, we've been through this before on the show.
Saying
Let's
Mrs.
take
Schwartz
your time.
is a tongue twister.
Tony will give us a free couple extra minutes. Let's slow down and say my last name correctly.
Schwartz.
There you go. Thank you very much.
Saying Mrs. Schwartz is a bit of a tongue twister, though. It's a bit of a mouthful.
You could just call her Ruth.
Well, Ruth, it's okay. Your son's being nice. Trust me, he's a good boy. Don't worry. He's okay. He's okay. He's good.
Oh, we have too much fun on this show sometimes. And sometimes I piss people off with it, too. So you never know.
You haven't pissed me off.
Oh, well, I think I have. I just don't think you're admitting it. But I think there's been times where you have not been happy with me.
Trust me, there are times
because there's times I have not been happy with you, and I think that's been well done.
There are times when I'm pissed off. My mom knows, my dad knows, my brother knows. Other people know.
Okay, let's play Stump the Wiz. We ask you every week, all the loyal viewers and listeners, to DM your best sports trivia questions to Sports Bash Media social media channels. If we pick your question, you get a prize. And today's prize is 2 tickets to a mutually agreed upon Yankees or Mets game, courtesy of Ticketbash.com. We don't know if our contestant is a Yankee or a Met fan. We will find out. He is Nick Smith from Wyandanch. And we'll find out from Nick if he stumps you, if he's a Yankee fan or a Mets fan. Now, Met tickets are going to start to get harder to come by. I mean, they've been drawing great crowds early on in the season. And so if you want to go to a Mets game and you can't get good seats the old-fashioned way on Mets.com, well, don't even use that. Just go to Ticketbash.com and you get better seats at really good prices with no service fee. So why would you go anywhere? Same thing for the Yankees. If you want great seats to go see a Yankee game, you go to Ticketbash.com. Vinny Tickets and his great staff will take great care of you. And you go to ticketbash.com and you get great Yankee seats. I've done it that way before. You know what? Life is not just always asking for free tickets. Sometimes you have to pay for them, and you get them at ticketbash.com.
Mm-hmm.
Did I talk too much there?
No.
Okay, here we go. It's a baseball question today. We have 2 minutes on the clock. I have the question first. We're ready to go. So here's the question. Nick Smith from Wyandanch wants you to name the 4 players since 2000 who homered on their 40th birthday. 4 players since 2000 hit home runs on their 40th birthday. Tony's got 2 minutes on the clock, and away we go.
I'm guessing Pujols has?
That's not correct. It's not on my list.
Again,
if he was, then you have to send it to the complaint department.
Miguel Cabrera?
No, he's not on here.
Really? That's surprising.
Remember, it's not when they were 40 years old. They actually hit they hit a home run on their 40th birthday.
Well, they would be 40 years old then.
Yeah, but on the
Right, but it's their birthday. Right. The day they turned 40, 4 players since 2000 have hit a home run on their 40th birthday.
I'm trying to think of guys that hit when they were in their 40 when they became 40. Jeez, I feel I look like an idiot right now.
No, I wouldn't say that. I'm trying to be nice to you. I'm going overboard here.
Jeter, I'm assuming. Jeter has to be one, right?
Minute and 10.
Oh, that's incorrect.
Oh, jeez, wow, I'm 0 for 3 right now.
I just want to make sure you continue to understand the question. When these 4 players celebrated their 40th birthday, on that day they hit a home run. So there's a lot of guys who have hit a home runs after they're 40 years old.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm trying to really think of it.
Right, but it was on their actual 40th birthday that these 4 guys hit a home run.
I feel it might be a more obscure question, honestly.
No, they're 4 pretty well-known players.
Oh, okay.
45 seconds.
45 seconds.
A-Rod?
A-Rod is 1. You got 1.
Yeah, okay, that's A-Rod. Okay. You should be in.
So Nick Smith from Wyandanch, you are how many seconds away? 35 seconds away.
What's is your Suzuki?
No, that's incorrect.
Damn it.
25 seconds to go, and Nick Smith from Wyandanch is going to
Jim Thome?
Jim Thome is number 2. You're halfway there.
15 seconds.
15 seconds
Sammy
to go.
Sosa? Was he?
Sammy Sosa, no.
What's David Ortiz?
David, no.
Oh, no, I don't know if he was turned 30 yet.
How about a Mets killer?
Okay. Yeah, of course,
What?
Of
Who?
course, Chipper Jones.
That's it.
Oh, he got
What did you say?
I said Chipper Jones.
Did he get it in before?
Yes,
all right,
did.
so we're going to give you Chipper Jones. 3
Okay,
out of 4.
3 out of 4.
The one you were missing was Joey Votto.
Yeah, that's another guy I want into.
Yeah. So congratulations to Nick Smith from Wyandanch. You'll let us know if you're a Mets or a Yankees fan, and you'll get 2 tickets to a mutually agreed upon game. It will not be the Yankees versus Mets. I will tell you that right now. That's out of the question. But you and Vinny Tickets will come to terms on a mutually agreed upon game. It is time for the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. We post a new poll question every Tuesday and Thursday on the Sports Bash Media X/Twitter page. Here's the question. It is Knicks related. Should Tom Thibodeau return as Knicks head coach next season? There are 3 choices. Yes, no, or it depends on how the Knicks finish. We'll go around the room, start with Wiz.
Really depends on how they finish. I mean, I don't expect them to beat the Celtics in any way, shape, or form. But, if Michael Malone's available, so they could take him. But
I think that's where they're going to go.
But I still think that, personally, even though it depends on how they finish, I still think Thibodeau will be out and Malone will be in.
Yeah, and I agree with Wiz. I think depends on how the Knicks finish. Tony, you're the third person.
I agree, but I think he should be back.
He should be back. So we got a yes and 2 depends on how close how they finish the season. All right, time to take care of some Dragons business, and some of this is to me as the general manager, it's all very, very exciting. So we had 3 big announcements today for the New York Dragons. The first one, congratulations to assistant coach Alex Marcellin, who joins head coach Gerald Filardi's staff. We welcome him to the Dragons family. He's done a great job for us so far in the offseason at open tryouts. He's going to be a big part of Gerald Filardi's staff, joining Sean Tremblay as 2 Dragon assistant coaches. I think we have 1 more to go, and we're going to get that name out to you soon. By the way, next week we will be announcing the first 2 Dragons players.
Nice.
Invites are going out for training camp today and tomorrow. And then next week, we are going to unveil, maybe in press conference format, the first 2 players invited to training camp for the New York Dragons. Today, we had a really cool day at the Orlin and Cohen Orthopedic Sports Medicine Group in Woodbury. We formally signed our contract. Orlin and Cohen will be the official medical provider for the New York Dragons. So there is a photo of the group today. Sean Wachter is our director of operations. I'm standing behind him. Head coach Gerald Filardi is there. Doug Freeman, the owner of the Entertainment Football Association, and also Ray Nelson from Orlin and Cohen. We had that great event earlier today at Orlin and Cohen. Now, the moment we have been waiting for, so many fans on social media. I couldn't have timed this any better because it's getting released all over social media right now. People have been waiting. We had to delay. We were supposed to do it last week. We had to delay it for certain reasons. It is time to unveil the uniforms for your 2025 New York Dragons. Let's take a look at them, Mr. Tony Walker. And how about that? Our home and away uniforms, black at home, white on the road. You see our beautiful red helmet with our helmet logo on it as well. And here's the great thing about Prodigy Football doing the uniforms for us. We can interchange those. We could wear black jerseys and white pants at home. We can do white jerseys and black pants on the road. We can mix those up any way we want. I think they look really, really sharp. I mean, all the teams in the league did a great job. We have great referees' uniforms as well. I am so happy with the way the Dragons uniforms came out. I told Prodigy and Aaron at Prodigy did a wonderful job creating. I showed him a picture of the old Dragons uniform. And just like we did with the logo to our graphic designer, I said, take the logo and put it on steroids and bring it to 2025. And he did that. I told Aaron Aronson at Prodigy Football to please take the old Dragons logo uniform and put it on steroids and bring it to 2025. Wiz, your first reaction to seeing the Dragons uniforms?
Honestly, better than I thought it would be.
Thanks for the confidence.
No,
God.
No.
Wow.
No. I mean, I'm saying it went beyond my expectations and wants. Like it.
Well, so you're saying you knew they were going to be good. You didn't think they were going to be that good.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be good, but man, they did what I wanted to see. I really love the fire on the sleeves. I like the helmet, of course. I like how the pants are interchangeable. Like, you go black on black or black on white or white on white and or white on black. I really think that's really cool. And yeah, I mean, I think they did a really, really good job.
Do you want a jersey?
Of course.
$79.99. No, I don't know. I don't know what the retail price of it's going to be. We're going to have them available for sale at the Nassau Coliseum at our home games. We might have them online. We're not sure yet. We're still working that out. But yeah, Tony, what do you think of the jerseys?
Orange and black, Hicksville colors. I love it.
Well, it's more red than it is orange.
Fire is orange.
Fire is orange.
Yes, but the helmet isn't.
The helmet is scarlet red.
I'm sticking with what I said. I love it. I think they're great uniforms.
You like them. Okay, that's all I asked you to do. That's all I asked you to say. Do you like it? Yes or no? Thumbs up?
Thumbs up.
Big thumbs up from Tony. I'm ecstatic. I'm very, very excited. I can't wait to see our players. And here's, what my favorite part of the uniform is? It was because I said, can I put my 2 cents in? And they said, you can do whatever you want. You're the general manager. You can do whatever you want. I said, I would really like the map of Long Island to be on the jersey. We thought about putting it on the front. And I don't know if, Tony, if you can zoom in on the back of either the home or the away jersey, and where the Dragons is, the name is, that's obviously where the player name will be, right underneath, right above Dragons is a map of Long Island.
Nice.
And Tony is working on it right now.
I think it works. I don't know how you'd be able to do it in the front, maybe unless you want to put it on like the shoulder, like where the Steelers put their logo or the Jets put their logo for like in the ones that I grew up with, those ones. But I like how it is in the back. It doesn't seem as cluttered that way, and I like how it kind of shows we're the New York Dragons, but they also want to give homage by putting it on the back right here.
I think they did a great job, and I love the fact that the map of Long Island is above the name on the back of the jersey. So thank you very much, everybody, Prodigy X, for all your hard work in putting the the Dragons uniform together. And again, kudos to the other teams in the Entertainment Football Association. They did a great job as well. Next week on the show, a scheduling change next week. And Wiz, you'll need to make note of this too. We will not be doing a show next Thursday, May 8th. We will be doing a show Wednesday, May 7th in its place. So Stump the Wiz in your regular segment will be next Wednesday, May 7th. So make sure you mark that in your calendar.
Gotcha.
Tuesday, May 6th, Colin Cosell, Mets public address announcer and just all-around great guy, the public address announcing all over the place. Wonderful, wonderful person. A good friend of mine will be the latest FOP, friend of Peter. That will be on Tuesday, May 6th. We will also, with Colin here, and we haven't really done this before with any of the FOPs, but we will have a scheduled guest on the show. So Colin will really be my co-host because we're going to interview Pat LaFontaine, the Hockey Hall of Famer, is going to be a guest on the show. His Companions Encourage Foundation has a great event coming up that we're going to talk to him about, a concert that's going to raise money for the foundation. So we're looking forward to that. Colin Cosell, the FOP, and Pat LaFontaine is the guest. Oh, my God, did I forget that? I almost forgot your other part of the show.
I was pointing to it to see if I get your attention.
Couldn't see it. I forgot all about, and thank you, Tony, for your more than subtle way of telling this week in sports history. Tony reached the question.
Yeah, I was trying to do this.
Yeah, well, I wasn't paying attention to you.
It's fine. Don't worry.
It's okay. Go right ahead.
And this week
in sport, take your time, but hurry up.
Well, as we know, last week was the NFL draft, but this week, back in 2015, was the first of the NFL's plan to have the NFL draft be all across the nation as opposed to just in Radio City Music Hall in New York. And, you know, obviously there's a lot.
We haven't had it back. Like, it would be nice if they brought it back to New York.
Yeah, though at the same time, I do know that they do know that having the NFL draft is almost like having, you know, the Super Bowl. I mean, he was in Chicago the first 2 years, then went to, you know, Philly, Dallas, Nashville, and just this year was in Green Bay.
And they did a wonderful job in Green Bay.
Yep, they had so many people there. And next year it's going to be in Pittsburgh, and I expect to also be big.
Yep.
I really want them to have it in, imagine what it's like in L.A. Imagine having that in L.A. Imagine
the NHL draft is going to be in Los Angeles in a theater this year.
Well, imagine, you know, you have the Intuit Dome, you have SoFi Stadium, you also have a Forum. Imagine how I have all of that just around the time. Or potentially, you could have it just before the Olympics in LA.
They could.
Year. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, they've done a great job promoting the NFL draft and getting it around and getting all the coverage. How about if it came to New York? Would you do it at MetLife Stadium? Or would you do it? How about if they had it in Central Park?
Ooh. Central Park would be really, really nice.
You could have it at Central Park.
Central Park would be cool. If they decided to go beyond like that, granted, Chicago had multiple locations, like one where they had people and one outside. So what if they potentially had? Maybe they could have some stuff in like MetLife Stadium and some stuff in Central Park.
They could go to Liberty State Park in New Jersey too. That's a pretty nice place.
That could be cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of options you go. Or imagine if it's in Buffalo. That would be really
Buffalo
nice.
By Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls in the
that'd
background.
be incredible.
That would be. You know what? That actually would be pretty awesome. And I spent 4 years of my life in Buffalo, and that's beautiful.
Yeah, that would be an amazing sight. It's like when they had it in Vegas, right by the fountain. It was incredible.
We are running up the bill on overtime here, so we have to end the show. And I almost forgot about you, so I apologize for that. That will do it for this edition of Sports Bash. Thanks to my guest, Dave Shepard. Thanks to Wiz, Vinny Laspinuso for Stump the Wiz, and a delayed This Week in Sports History. Thanks to Tony Walker and everyone here at Governor's Comedy Club. Sports Bash is presented by Ticketbash.com and the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund. Sports Bash is sponsored by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage and the Marty Lyons Foundation. For our entire crew, I'm Peter Schwartz. Thank you for watching and listening. Sports Bash returns on Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Have a great weekend, everyone.